Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm going to be starting a new series here on the channel that is just going to be focused on just unedited raw gameplay so that you can have an understanding of what playing Flicker Strike on Acolyte of Chayula looks like. And obviously Flicker Strike will look pretty similar with most ascendancies that play it. Chayula just does a really good job with Cast on Freeze and Voltaic Mark because you just have unlimited mana. So I've got some rolled maps here so that you can see they're all corrupted tier 15/16s. Not running Delirious right now just because I need to upgrade my computer because otherwise it's a slideshow when we're going into maps. But I've prepped a bunch of maps and we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and do this Blooming Field. It's a nice open map. It's got 4 towers of shit on it. And we'll just get right into it. I'll be doing commentary throughout. Before we actually get started on the map, you can jump around to see what maps you want to do. I'll also include bosses. You can have this on in the background. But what I do and would really appreciate is if you subscribe to the channel. That's going to be the best way to kind of support me in getting stuff like editing software, webcam for that eventually, all that kind of stuff, just to kind of help support the hobby a little bit more. So to start a map, I always get my full power charges and I pop Charge Staff because it gives me lightning damage to attacks, which is what's going to enable us to shock. And then we just start flickering. Nice little ornate strongbox here. I've changed my setup to be Cast on Freeze because it's more automated that way. And obviously I'm getting plenty of energy because I freeze a shit ton of mobs as we're just flying through the map here. Feel free to yell at me for any loot that I missed that you would have picked up. But we're just at a point where we're not trying to do too much base crafting. Probably want to adjust the loot filter so that I'm not just having a ton of shit that I don't want to be picking up. Almost to the point where I don't even want to pick up Exalted Orbs. I don't think you really ever get to that point, but yeah. I just want to hear my sweet Maven moan when Divine Orbs drop. I'll link the loot filter. It has all the sound files that I use, so if you like the Maven sounds, then you can do that. It's part of your loot filter as well. I do really enjoy Ritual this league just because the prevalence of omens seems to be so much higher. So crafting with omens is just a lot more attainable for more casual players. Obviously it's still very much an endgame mechanic and not really available to absolutely everyone. You still need to have like a pretty solid build and have a good understanding of you know, optimizing for Ritual. Like getting your 8 skill points and all of that stuff is important. I do fill a decent amount with Stormwave, just because I don't want to use up the charges for no reason. But when I see a pack like this, it's obviously pretty easy for me to decide Alright, let's go in and flicker. And I also have the stun threshold support on Stormwave, so when I flicker and end it up in like a big pack of stuff, I can just use Stormwave to boost my stun threshold even higher, which obviously is pretty nice. On top of that, we run hit and run, so every once in a while my flicker won't travel far enough, it'll be blacked out and I won't be able to be using it. So that's why you're seeing me use Stormwave in between some things. If you have epilepsy, I don't recommend playing Flicker Strike because Jesus definitely takes the wheel. I really like the new Atlas tree as well. Obviously, loot has been lower this league. I don't think anybody's denying that. Hopefully they address it, and then I can just enjoy myself even more. But, I mean, I still get giddy when I'm playing Flicker just because of how insane some of the chains can get, man. It really is just super fun. Alright, no omens that we want. Let's take the currency. This is a decent base. That's a decent base. So that's what we'll run with. When you spec into shrines, they're all over your map and they just make the mapping experience way better. I don't like Gloom because it destroys the corpse when you use it, so I usually click Gloom off. Obviously, if you get the gold one, you click the gold one off. And if you get the acceleration shrine, that's when mapping gets insane. The acceleration shrine just really gets you zooming. Just trying to find the breach. I wish they would do what they did with rare monsters, but just with the mechanics on the map. It's nice that once you discover the mechanic, you can see it on the map, but there's just a lot of times where I can't like discover the breach hand, or like there's a ritual altar that I've missed or something like that. I'd really appreciate if they let me look it up. So I got close enough so I can see the breach hand now. They may have already implemented it, because sometimes it feels like like once I've killed enough monsters that it works. So like it'll show up like wherever it is on the map. So maybe that is already in the game, but I haven't paid close enough attention to know if that's actually in the game or if that's just my headcanon. I also run the thing in my Atlas tree that makes the rares have the Soul Eater, so they end up taking like way less damage. But it just gives the chance at them dropping a full stack of catalysts. And with Breach, catalysts are just big money makers. Especially if you get like a stack of 10 of those Reaver catalysts. Reaver catalysts go for like 6 or 7x all to pop right now, so if you get a stack of 10 of those, that obviously feels pretty dang good. I do go for strong boxes, because the researchers ones specifically are the ones that I open. I have gotten divines out of just like the regular drop boxes, not just Venters. I've seen 2 Venters troves. One time it gave me a perfect Jewelers and a level 20 skill gem, and another time it gave me just 2 level 20s. Alright, not good enough. That one has good. Ooh, that's decent, but it's got thorns on it, but we can hopefully get rid of some of that stuff. Regal this, cut more stun threshold, and these are some crazy stun threshold boots. Not that that necessarily means it's gonna sell, but you know. I'm just gonna portal back real quick. The whole goal of this is to be unedited. One, because I haven't, figured out any editing software that I want to be using just yet, and also giving you a full idea of kind of what the full mapping experience is like. I don't have time to actually stream, and I don't have like a good schedule that I can keep, so I'll just be doing very consistent YouTube videos to kind of be in place of that. So I'll be able to start a playlist. This will be the very first video, and I'll kind of catalog it over time. So as you guys are maybe wanting to go back and watch different builds that I've done, longer in the future, you'll be able to see, hey, this was Dawn of the Hunt, this was 0.3 patch, this was, 0.1 or whatever the case is. So that way you have a way to go back and just kind of see. And I've just felt when I'm watching games, there's games that I watch that I've never actually played. A good example of this is Trackmania. I just enjoy what the gameplay looks like, and I wonder if any of the viewers here actually do that as well. So let me know in the comments if you don't really play PoE 2, but you like to watch it. Because I just think it'd be cool to know if there's people that don't play PoE 2 that are watching, or if it's just exclusively a PoE 2 audience. Either way, I'm super happy. Yeah. The reception to the videos, I mean, I honestly thought I was going to get like 50 viewers on my build guide, but I think people were really looking for alternatives to Lightning Spear, and I truthfully believe that this is a really exceptionally strong build that holds up very well to Lightning Spear. It's just Deadeye in general is just so fast that I think people just can't stand not having the movement speed. You can't one-shot Black Crow. This is one of my least favorite map bosses because of that reason. He just runs, and these are all forced mechanics. I know for a fact that I have way more than enough damage to actually one-shot him. It just doesn't let you. So now he's going to come grab his bell. He's going to go yell at the wall. I'm going to follow him. Get my skeletons back up for some power charges. I would say try to avoid the slam, but he's going to die right before that slam comes out.
Map.
Alright, we got... the one thing I have noticed that has been improved a lot is map bosses in general drop a lot of the tiered gear. So you can pretty easily see like, oh hey, this is the tiered gear, so it may have better chance of modifiers than otherwise. How the tiers work, to my understanding, is just that to K, what do we want to do? Let's do Savannah. I like Savannah. It's just the tier of the mods. If it's like a tier 5, the minimum mod that can roll on it is a tier 5 mod, which is obviously great because the higher mod, like if you're taking the lower mods out of the pool, then you just have a higher chance of identifying a valuable item, or an item that works well for your build. I just hope they do add some more solo self-found support in the future. not necessarily that I want to be doing solo self-found, I just know a lot of my buddies like not having to interact with trade. I like interacting with trade because I like to sell items, and some of my long form talks will be on like kind of state of currency kind of things, so I also just did a deep dive on Flicker Strike, and so I'll probably do that for, you know, whatever build I'm running. I'll do deep dives for people to check out. I'll do currency updates, and then of course these videos of just going through the raw gameplay so that you can have a good idea of, you know, what a build looks like. I'm not picking up inscribed ultimatums or barriers anymore just because I have so many. I know I think you can sell them for like an Exile to pop or something like that, but I'm not on the T for T like bulk trade Discord. I just haven't like sought it out yet. I should. I have a lot of, you know, stuff that I could theoretically sell in bulk that I think could help me get some more currency, but right now I'm just focused on mapping and getting these videos out for everyone to take a look at. I do like these like more open layout maps like Savannah a lot more than a lot of the other maps, just because obviously the more open a map you have, the more room Flicker has to kind of jump around. Like there's been times that I've basically one flickered around the entire circle of sand spit, and I really just love that experience. It just makes me laugh every time it happens. So not something that you really get used to, you know, like when your flicker really gets going, it really just gets going, and it's honestly a very fun experience to be going through. Right, we've got one more ritual. We've got to find the breach. Stone charms and silver charms. Those are great chancing bases. Those legendary versions, the unique versions of stone charms and silver charms go for a lot. There's some gold charm ones that go for a lot too, but they're not chance bases. I wish that it was, because those ones are insane. But I think those ones only drop when an Asmeri spirit has possessed the mob and then you kill it. Yeah. Let's just see if any of these are worth a shit. That one is really pretty fucking good. Baseline. That sucks. Sucks. That's good. I want crit on it if I'm gonna be playing with that at all. I do like to pick up every unique, because every unique is essentially an Exalt, because a chance shard is worth a little bit more than one Exalt, so I know that you can kind of get filled up on space pretty quick if you're picking up uniques, but I like to be efficient with the uniques, in the sense that I like picking them up just because it's currency that I can exchange with Alva, and it's not necessarily something that I have to roll. I can just go and disenchant it and essentially get an Exalt for it. A lot of items are obviously just like dumpster tier. And crafting, for the most part, is really just kind of identifying items with extra steps as it stands right now, unless you're doing like Omen of Whittling crafting and like the prefix suffix crafting, and there's some essence crafting, but not like so much that you can really get a lot done with it. It just like essence crafting is still, hey, hopefully I've got 2 great mods. I put on a 3rd great mod, and then I slam 3 more potentially great mods, and then it's still back to whittling. As really the main ways to do things. There's also the Recombinator, and the Recombinator is pretty popular, and I earned a lot of my early league currency via the Recombinator. They're kind of like Breach Splinters on steroids. They just do a lot better at like just holding their value, because Recombinators hold their value for a lot longer than like Breach Splinters or Simulacrum Splinters do, because there's a natural like dump of those items like kind of going away a lot more consistently, because like it takes more Simulacrum shards and Breach shards to actually get to the Breach Stone. And yeah. This one does have a map boss too, so you guys will be able to experience that. Which one did I not do? The southern one for the ritual that I didn't do. I think I did do this one, but maybe not, because I still got a rare monster I can kill over there too. Yeah, there we go. Dextral Annulment. So we did get a pretty nice omen here. Just to show you guys, it's 440 exalts as the trade, so that's around 4 divs. Is what these Dextral Annulments are going for right now. So we'll go ahead and defer that bad boy. And how much was the deferment cost? I should have checked before re-rolling again, but we will re-roll anyway, and it didn't show up, so we don't have to have that price go up. But I do like taking a look at all of these items. That is T1. That's just not quite good enough. I definitely get into the bad habit of chaosing the absolute shit out of a lot of items. Don't do that. Chaos are worth a lot, actually. Pretty consistently have been worth a little over 3 exalts. And I actually post most of my items in chaos, just because exalts seem to be the one thing that does consistently drop like candy. This boss can get kind of wonky sometimes with Flicker Strike. Maybe you guys will be able to experience it. You'll just see what I mean when I do it. That one wasn't very wonky, but sometimes I literally flicker and like end up trying to hit the mobs that are up on the ledge. And I don't.
I must maintain a fine balance.
That's fine. Alright, that's 2 maps down. Get another 2 maps in. Maybe we'll do like a ritual boss or something, because I think I have an audience with the king. Yeah, you know what? Let's go do that. I do have an audience with the king, so that you guys can see some Pinnacle content as part of this video as well. And it does help give a barometer for how much damage we're doing, because the second phase is still like a full boss. I'm not even going to change my gems that I have socketed. And today, right now, I have socketed into Flicker, Hit and Run, Pinpoint Critical, Concentrated Effect, Ambrosia, and Momentum. Ambrosia gives us 60% of damage as extra lightning because of running a big flask here. And then we get a bunch of damage as extra fire for using Infernal Cry. And then we did 15 million in just about a second and a half, it looked like. And I didn't even do my double Infernal Cry. I will do my double Infernal Cry when I get on to the next boss here in just a second. If I don't die to the fog, which would not be ideal. So I've got my power charges, got my charge staff. I will Infernal Cry twice, flicker on him, and make him go boom. I'm not crit capped, so actually there's like a 3% chance that I don't do that, and now he went boom. There's 20 million damage in right around 2 seconds. So right around 10 million DPS, give or take. And that's without even doing anything else. Really shit drops. So it's not too bad though, because King of the Mists is only like 40 exalts to go in there and do it. But there you go. You guys got to see kind of what a Pinnacle Boss looks like, and that's not even with any of the boss tech that can be on there. We already did Blooming Field. Let's try to give you guys another map. Do we want to run Sandspit? Yeah, Sandspit's an OG. We'll run the tier 16 on Sandspit. Tier 16 has 200% stun buildup, and I'm not afraid of stun buildup at all. The main mods I try to avoid are Ailment Threshold and Temp Chains, and also maximum elemental resistances. It's not that I can't do those maps, it just makes it so that my booms on like the connections of like the marks going out and stuff, that right there, what you saw, those just don't happen as often when they have elemental resistances or ailment threshold as part of the map pool. So I just don't enjoy running those ones as much because I want to see my flicker make things pop. Ornate Belt is another good chance one for Rizloth's Coil. Another, like, I think last time I checked, like 10 divs. Obviously Heavy Belt is another good chancing base. Because Headhunters are still like 30 div. Astromantises are still good selling items as well, so you can still chant Stellar Amulets. It's just white Stellar Amulets are not going to be as prevalent selling. They're still going to sell for pretty cheap now just because obviously stat stacking got very nerfed. There was an example of me getting stunned, and even though I got stunned, it didn't like completely set me back. It just kind of knocked me out of my flicker animation for a second. But I didn't get stun locked because of the stun threshold investment that we do have. I'm telling you guys, investing into stun threshold in the tree is one of the best things that you can do. Because, you know, there's not a ton of builds that can like off-screen mobs, like, you know, before there was Spark and stat stackers and all of that kind of main things where you could just get a bunch of damage and not worry about mobs kind of closing the gap and potentially stun locking you, so you just went for more damage so that you were never close enough for them to actually stun you. Now I feel like with the changes they made, you do need to take a little bit more of a balanced approach on defenses and offenses and stuff like that. So with that said, I have, you know, a good amount of points put into the defenses on ailment threshold and stun threshold as part of my build, and that's what you see on the max roll guide as well. I don't know if max roll has been updated with these passives that I'm taking that are right next to CI, Abasement and Shimmering Mirage. They just give you a bunch of stun threshold. This one's actually super good because it also gives you stun recovery. And stun recovery is just essentially how long you're light stunned for. So it's basically like, hey, you're light stunned for less time. And if you're light stunned for less time, then that means you have time to react and do something to prevent the next mob from light stunning you. Let me know in the comments if you like these long form videos, if you would prefer that I don't talk and just turn on some light music, and, you know, do you want me to turn off game sounds? You know, just any suggestions that you guys have for enjoying this playlist style content. I definitely will be doing playlist style content as a consistent upload schedule. So for those of you that are going to be in here enjoying this video, great. I obviously will still also be doing, you know, build guide updates, deep dives on skills, the currency stuff. I know I already said a lot of that stuff, so sorry for being a little repetitive there. But these videos are just for your enjoyment, just to kind of have a mapping experience. This is the worst ritual altar I've ever seen. That was pretty shit too. I got like stuck. Second there. Enough to defer it again. That's good. So in a future video, you'll be able to see that thing in my inventory, or at least the divs I get from selling it. Just because I don't really have any like crafting projects that I'm looking to do right now. As I have crafting projects. Well, I think I have one. I've got a really nice staff that has really high critical damage bonus, really high crit. It's just missing melee skills and a higher like percent physical roll. But I really would like to have like a budget of a little over like 100 divs to try to craft on that thing. But that staff, like at least what it's starting out as, is starting out as a great base to try to create a mirror item. That's another one of my goals. You know, hopefully I can like eventually optimize things to the point where I am earning a ton of currency. There you go, 10 flesh catalysts just popped out of that one. So that's one of the reasons that we run this. Flesh catalysts obviously don't sell great, but that stone buildup was getting dicey there for a second. Flesh catalysts are flesh catalysts. I mean, they're nothing special. So you want to shoot for like reavers and the attributes one and a couple other things, but Beggars can't be choosers. It's just nice to be able to get, you know, some extra stuff that we can trade in at Alba. Basically, my opinion on currency is like anything you can trade in at Alba is pretty bis. And that's why I kind of prefer Ultimatum over Sekima's, is because all your money that you get from Sekima's are either from carries, which I'm not a big fan of doing that for money personally. It's just a lot to like deal with, especially as I'm like doing this as I'm working and stuff like that. I'd much rather just, you know, kind of brainlessly move myself through Ultimatum, just because you can really autopilot Ultimatum with CI, because a lot of like the really shitty mechanics are based on chaos damage, and with a lot of the shitty mechanics being based on chaos damage, as CI you just don't have to worry about it as much. And whereas a lot of other builds, if you're not CI, definitely have to worry about chaos. I think the chaos on death effects and chaos damage in general is what people probably complain about the most. That and like the corpse explode shit off screen, and the mines from some of the monsters that are in the Act 3 past next to like Viper Napuzzi. I probably completely butchered the name there. Oh, I already deferred it. Right? Yeah, because I didn't re-roll it. We'll just leave it in there now. But after 3 maps and a Pinnacle Boss, I think I will stop the video here. I really do appreciate you tuning in to this new style content that I'm going to be releasing pretty consistently. Let me know if you have any questions about the build in the comments. If you've been watching any of my build guides or any of the other stuff, you know that I'm pretty good about responding to the comments. I really do try to read all of them and get to all of them, so it really does help me understand the direction people want to see the channel going. So, with that said, please subscribe, leave some comments, talk with me. I'm happy to chat with you. And have a great evening, everyone, or morning, or whenever it is that you are watching this. Later.